Hello, everyone. Hi, how's it going? Happy Friday. This is immigration attorney Moumita. Thank you for joining me today. It's the end of the week, and I'm sure almost everyone is happy. If you have to work this weekend, I'm sorry. I hope you get some days off soon. But thank you for joining me today. Thank you for stopping by. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Moumita Rahman. I am an immigration attorney. I am in New York City, but I work with clients all over the U.S. because I practice federal immigration law, and I love what I do. I've been practicing immigration law for about 10 years, and yes, I've been a lawyer for that long, and or that little, I don't know, depending on your perspective. So thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to start out with the topic, and then I'll take some questions near the end, and then you can ask me any questions that you'd like. So for deeper questions on your case, I will probably recommend to do a consultation. Consultation is your opportunity to ask questions about your case, about anything that is concerning you, and also for me to analyze your case to see what is possible, to see what immigration relief you have, and to see ways to get you status and a green card and a work permit and all of those things that you deserve. So my topic for today that I'm going to start with is, can your employer sponsor you if you are out of status? Can your employer help you get a green card? Can your employer help you get a work permit if you are not in legal immigration status? So, very good question, because a lot of people are here. You know, obviously you are probably working and your employer may know that you don't have any immigration status. So can they help you? Many employers, a lot of us are very fortunate to have some great employers who want to help you, and they want to see what they can do to help you. Now, here's the thing: if you don't have any legal status, then your employer probably cannot help you get a green card at the moment. Okay, most of the processes to get a green card require you to start the process when you are already in a legal status, which means either you already have a visa or you have something different. Now, but this brings me to the next part of my topic, which is, what if you are on DACA or on TPS? Can you get a green card through employment? Now, this is actually going to depend. So for DACA, for my DACA folks and for my TPS folks, if you got your TPS or your DACA status when you were 18 or under, then there may be a possibility for your employer to help petition for you to get a green card, because what that means is that you have not accrued unlawful presence and you will be eligible, and you are also in a lawful status. That means that you will be able to get a green card. Okay, there's various options. If this is something that you are thinking about or your employer is thinking about, you can give me a call. There might be various solutions available for you. But for the most part, if you are already out of status and your employer wants a petition for you for a green card, it may not be possible, or you may need to leave the country to get a waiver to get it done, which depends on whether you can do a waiver or a perdón for a green card that is going to be received through employment. Will depend also on whether you have the proper U.S. relatives. So again, as with anything else, if you have a question about immigration, you can give me a call. My telephone number is 212-248-7907. I would be very happy to walk through your case to see what your options are. All right. So again, thank you to everyone for joining me on this Friday night. I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. Let's see what I have. And for anyone who's watching, please have a little bit of patience. I am live streaming on 4 different platforms right now. All right. So my first question is can a conditional green card holder apply for low-income housing scheme? Will it impact the I-751? Thanks from me, June, April. All right, thank you so much for your question. Now, here's the thing. If you have an I-751, if you are applying for an I-751, that means that you already have a green card. If you have already received your green card, whether it's a 2-year green card or a 10-year green card, then the government is not looking at how much money you're earning. They're not looking anymore at what benefits you've taken, because they already had the opportunity to ask that before you got your green card. And that is the time when it's usually an issue as to whether you took any public benefits. The government's point of inquiry, the relevant point of inquiry, is before you get your green card. Once you already get your green card, then it's pretty much a done deal. They're not going to look at it. So If you want to apply for benefits, the only thing that you need to be aware of is make sure you're not committing any sort of fraud in obtaining the benefits, right? So make sure you qualify for that thing, because if you commit fraud or you lie about, or you say that you're a US citizen in order to get a certain benefit, then that will disqualify you from becoming a US citizen in the future. And furthermore, some of them might result in criminal penalties, or calling yourself a US citizen would actually be even worse. So, if you have any questions, just make sure you check to see the qualification requirements for those benefits. And thank you for your question. So Gabby's asking, what is the difference between a green card and a visa? Very good question. All right. So here's, I think I have a video on YouTube about this very topic. What is a visa? And it's actually one of my favorite things to talk about because I'm kind of a nerd about immigration. And here's the word visa comes from a Latin word, the visa carta, I believe. And what it is, think of it this way. You need a visa to go through a border. You need a visa to enter into a country. You need a visa. A visa is a document that you present at the border or at the airport or at customs to prove that you are allowed to enter the country. A visa is something that is going to be issued only by a consulate outside the country, okay? A green card, is something that is different. A green card is proof of permanent status in the US. It is proof that you're a resident in the US. So a visa is just a permission to come into the US, whether it's a tourist visa, a student visa, an H-1B visa, an artist visa. There are so many different types of visas, but all of those are temporary permissions to come into the US and to be in the US in that sort of category for whatever amount of time it's allowed for. Now, there's also something called an immigrant visa. An immigrant visa is permission to come into the US, but to reside as an immigrant. And anytime you hear the word immigrant in like the legal part of immigration language, it means that is a permanent residency. So if you come into the US with an immigrant visa, that means that you can live here permanently. If you come in here with a non-immigrant visa, that means you're only allowed to be here for a temporary period of time. I know that's a lot of, that's maybe boring, but I love it. So I hope that helps. Let's see what other questions I have. All right. So while I go through these questions, please feel free to post your questions on other places as well. All right, how much time is required for citizenship and how many years taxes required? So it depends on the category that you got your green card through. If you got your green card through marriage to a US citizen and you are still married to, and you're still living with that US citizen, you can apply for citizenship in 3 years. If it's anything else, it's 5 years. Okay, so Sab Singh is asking, is it safe to change address within the same apartment complex? I'm a bit scared because I have a lawyer, but what if I miss my important documents? All right, thank you for your question. Thank you for watching. Oh, wow, that is such a great question, because if you move during your immigration process, how can it impact your case? And the bad news is that it can actually impact your case quite a lot, because this is what happens. Anytime you move during your immigration case, you as the immigrant are required by law to update your address with USCIS within 10 days. And you have to take certain steps to make sure that it gets done. However, we're seeing a lot of inefficiency in USCIS, and what's happening is you can update your address by calling them, by filing it online, even by mailing it in person. But what happens is they may not update it on their end, and they'll continue sending notices or maybe your green card or your work permit to the old address. And it just happens. And if you move, even if it's to a different apartment inside the same building, you can have the same problem. And I would recommend try to take as many safeguards as you can, including make sure you update your address with the post office. Even if you file the address change with USCIS, let your postal carrier know, and do whatever you can. Maybe you can do a mail hold or forwarding, whatever you can do to make sure that the mail gets to your hands, because moving during an immigration process can definitely complicate things. And what we do, what I'll do for a lot of my cases now is we'll make sure the mail comes to us as the attorneys. And if you have an attorney in your immigration case, then that is also an option for you to have all documents sent to your attorney. I don't know. I have a 10-year lease, so I know I'm not going anywhere. It's usually the safer option for most people. All right. Thank you for that question, Sing Sub. All right. So let's see. I have a question from Alex Camarillo, who's asking, should I renew my DACA first or file for citizenship via spouse? Okay, very good question. So if you have DACA, you're married to a US citizen, what should you do first? Should you maintain your DACA or should you file for a green card first? Now, actually, that brings me up to a different point. If you marry a US citizen, people ask, can I apply for my citizenship now? Here's the thing. You first have to get green card status before you can apply for citizenship. You have to hold permanent residency or conditional residency in the US for a certain number of years before you can become eligible to apply for citizenship. So the first step would actually be, Alex, to get your residency fixed. But what I would recommend is this: continue to maintain your DACA status. If you have DACA, continue to maintain it because, if you apply for a green card through a spouse, it's, one of the biggest concerns that most people have is, when will I get my work permit? These days, work permits are taking about 6 to 8 months to get. So that's a long time to be without a work permit. So if you currently already have work permit status through DACA, renew it, because DACA work permits are taking about a month or less. So just go ahead and get that done, Alex. And then, you can start your residency at the same time or after you get that renewed, okay? All right. So let's see what other questions I have. And thank you for that question, Alex. Oh, hi, Pedro. Alberto Escobedo is saying that he can't hear. Can everybody else hear me? I hope you can hear me. I hope it's working. So please let me know if you can't hear me. Oh, Instagram. You guys can't hear me. I'm sorry. All right. All right, so I've ended Instagram. All right, let's see. Tashi Dargel is asking, is it normal for USCIS to take more than 19 months for I-751? My extension is expiring in 1 week. Thank you. Tashi, thank you for your question. Yes, it is actually very normal for USCIS to take more than 18 months, but here's the good news. If you file an I-751 application, then it doesn't mean that your status is going anywhere. You continue to maintain your residency, your conditional residency, up until the time they make a decision on your case. And hopefully by the time that decision is made, that means that you have either been approved or you have, if you're not approved, that's not that great, but your residency does not end until you get a decision, okay? Or it continues. Now, these days, it's taking a very long time. If it's taking more than 18 months, that means your letter is expiring. But keep in mind, your 18-month extension letter begins from the date that your card expires. And if it happens to still expire, you can always make an appointment at InfoPass to get an extension stamp in your passport. Okay, Tashi? I hope that helps, and thank you for watching. All right, let's see what questions I have on TikTok. Stop Dreams is saying, received an I-693 deficiency notice. Should we wait until RFE comes to respond? Action is not required now. The deficiency notice, it says that it's a deficiency notice and a courtesy notice. It doesn't say to send it in. It very clearly says, wait until you get an RFE, or if you don't get an RFE, bring it with you to the interview, okay? So wait until one of those two things happens. So Alejandra Martinez is asking, how long would it take to get my husband's daughter and mother a visa to visit? What's the process? So that's a great question. So Alejandra, that depends on what your status is. Are you a US citizen? Are you a resident? What kind of a visa are you looking to get for your husband to come in? Now, if you are a resident or if you are a US citizen, you can apply for an immigrant visa for your husband. That will take about 1 year. If you're talking about something a little bit more quicker, you can try for visitor visas for both of them. That is probably going to take a couple of months, but who knows if it's going to get approved. Those are a little bit more difficult to get approved. Unfortunately, Alejandra, you're not going to be able to petition your mother-in-law for anything directly, okay? I hope that helps, and thank you for watching. All right, so let's see. Someone's asking, I got an approval letter from my husband. What's the next step? or how long after waiting to send the waiver. So if you are doing the perdón or the waiver process and you got an approval of your I-130, then how long does it take to send the waiver? When can you send it? And you can send your waiver application as soon as your case is accepted into NDC and you pay the immigrant visa fee. You need to send a copy of that receipt showing that you paid that fee with your waiver application. So it basically depends on a couple of those things, and also how long it takes you to get your waiver together. Okay, Ayed 15, is there anything to do after my husband signs a voluntary departure or voluntary deportation out of the USA? Yes, give me a call. If you're a US citizen or a resident, or even if you're not, I will take a look to see if there is a different way to save your husband's case, to either keep him here in the US or to bring him back, okay? Give me a call, 212-248-7907. I would love to see what I can do to help. All right. Someone's asking, Elvira Carrillo is asking, advanced parole for DACA, is it safe? Yes, it's safe. If you can get advanced parole and you have DACA, there's very, very little risk in traveling on advanced parole for the most part, unless you have some previous criminal history or you have some new criminal history, then I would not recommend it. And if you're worried, then talk to a lawyer. You can give me a call and I can look to see if it's okay. All right. So, and I have a question here from Shahir Ratnani who's asking, how much time will it take to get a U visa application accepted and biometrics done in March 2019? So Shahir, thank you so much for your question. Shahir, and anybody else who's applying for a U visa, U visas are taking about 5 years these days. It's taking a very, very long time. Don't ask me why, because the cap for the U visa is not even reached every single year. It's taking a long time, okay? But good luck to you, Shahir. I hope that helps. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and get going because it is Friday. I want to get going home, maybe take care of some errands. Thank you to everyone who's watching. I'm sorry if I had some sound issues. Thank you again. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay tuned. I'll be back next week. Please save your questions. Please follow me. Please like my videos. I really appreciate it. And also, here's another really important thing I'd really like to ask you. If you find any of my videos helpful, if you learn anything from them, please share them to your page. Please share them with your friends and family. You never know when the information that I give might help somebody else. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. I want to help and touch as many people's lives as possible and help people as much as I can. So yeah, my name is Moumita Rahman. Thank you so much for joining. Again, if you need to call and make a consultation, my telephone number is 212-248-7907. And have a good night.